I'm really big on brain typing. I'm really big on that aspect of training. And I got turned on to it years ago by a book called Your Key to Sports Success by Jonathan P. I think it's Neednagel. It's Niednagel. And basically it's using your unique brain type to maximize athletic performance. So it's Myers-Briggs. Lawrence, why don't you explain what Myers-Briggs is to those folks out there that might not be aware of it? And then we'll talk about this.
Sure. So Myers-Briggs is a way to identify what your type is, and that's capital T type, in a way that's something that's useful for you to actually do things around leadership style, around the way you learn, around the way that you interact with other people. It's a psychological thing. Isabel Myers came up with this way of identifying kind of how you think along and what your personality type is along, say, for example, being introverted or extroverted, right? That's one of the factors that they use.
Mm-hmm.
Another factor is thinking and judge versus judging and so on and so forth. So they have these different parameters. And the cool thing about that is you can take this relatively simple test, doesn't take very long, and it will give you some options. You pick between the options, and it lets you chart out what your type is.
Yeah, the test is really, I don't think it takes 5 minutes to take it.
I think there's multiple versions of it, but yeah, the quick version, yeah, it's 5 minutes, and it helps you figure out what your type is, and then it gives you a bunch of practical advice in terms of what you're naturally good at, how do you naturally take to certain things, and it gives you some stuff about how to use that, how to use it in interacting with other people, and how to use it in excelling in sports. It's pretty cool.
I don't know that they're using this guy's book, Your Key to Sports Success, or his methodologies in the NFL, but they do a test at the Combine for the National Football League that sort of shows their brain aptitudes. And if I remember, Vince Young didn't do really well on that, and he was still hired by the Tennessee Titans, and now he's gone. After a pretty big public, we're not telling any secrets here. It was a very public blow up with the coach as well as some fans, I believe. And just goes to show you that at least in this instance, there is some validity to the types of testing that they're doing in regard to brain behavior.
Yeah, there is. And lots of businesses use this kind of stuff too. But I think the really cool application, and for the martial arts, of course, is this figuring out what your learning type is and how it affects your ability to excel in sports.
Yeah, I actually took the test into the dojo one time and had the students do the test so that I could see what I was looking at. Now, I took those types and I developed an average. It was kind of like, oh, gee, I've got an ESTJ dojo. And to translate that it would be what?
So E is extrovert.
S.
Now I'm trying to remember. T is thinking, and J is judgmental, and S I'm forgetting.
Was it sensitive? I forget.
Sensing, yeah, that's right. Sensing versus feeling, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So that was the average of the dojo. So that sort of allowed me to say, oh, okay, I'm gonna go test it by changing my method of instruction a little bit to accommodate that aggregate brain type. And so what I did is I took this book, Your Key to Sports Success, and looked up that brain type and found out that from a physical standpoint, they were very good at the hand and eye coordination. They were very good at fine motor skills. However, that brain type also had kind of a narrow bandwidth of vision. In other words, that brain type makes a really good pitcher. They're like, yeah, man, that's my plate. I'm throwing the ball. I'm giving them the heat. I'm going to trick this guy, whatever it is, and it's all about that focus. And they make lousy shortstops because they don't have the ability to make a lot of decisions on the fly.
Interesting.
So, yeah. Oh, okay, great. I've got people with a high aptitude of motor skills and a narrow kind of worldview. And I don't mean that in a negative, in a pejorative. I mean, it's just that, they have an ability to focus on something that's very direct in front of them. Great. Now what I can do is I can teach to that brain type. And I started doing it, and I started getting some really exponential growth out of the students. It was really impressive. And I haven't done it recently, but I am going to do it again because the dojo constituency has changed.
Some of the people have changed, right?
But I'm going to go back and I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to revisit that because I think it's really, I just think the world of it. I think it's just really successful. I find it fascinating, and I clearly find benefit in it.